Halo 3. Is it any good? You may be questioning at this point if I'm always going to talk about Halo in these videos. Well...
God damn, I'm getting so sick of answering that question!
Back in time, on Christmas 2007, my father gave me an Xbox 360 bundle that came with PGR3, Cameo, Elements of Power, and Perfect Dark Zero. With the bundle, I also got a copy of Halo 3. I would like to say I had the best experience of my FPS gaming life, but unfortunately that was not quite what happened. It was hard to listen to the game, as I played it in Portuguese, and the Brazilian dub was terrible.
Não vamos deixá-lo aqui.
Você não vai.
There was no acting on the voices, and the translation was made to the letter, meaning that a lot of expressions said in the game didn't make any sense in Portuguese. It didn't help that I had no previous knowledge about the series. I didn't know who Cortana was, why she was so important, who were those weird alien things running around, or why the car is called Warhog when it clearly looks like a puma.
You're making that up.
I'm telling you, it's a real animal.
We also had to pay to play online. Can you imagine that? That was unheard back then, and Microsoft was the first one of the big three to have a paid service for online gaming. Neither my Wii nor my future PlayStation 3 asked for money to play online. I was not willing to do that. And then it happened. Close to the end of the game, I had my first issue with the infamous Red Ring of Death. I had to send my console for repair and it took a while to get it back. Eventually, my Xbox arrived and, before it failed a second time, I was able to finish the game. My first experience with Halo and the Xbox consoles in general was tarnished for a long time. It was not until 2023 when I decided to go through the entire series. I wanted to know why something that I completely disliked back then became a series with 6 main games, several side stories, and a TV series. And mostly, I was curious to know what I would feel when going through Halo 3 once again. So, about the game. Halo 3 was released for the Xbox 360 in September 2007. Although I didn't know when I replayed it, the game is not a direct sequel from the second Halo, but from a comic book story called Halo Uprising that would fill up the holes left by the abrupt ending of its predecessor. In Uprising, Master Chief is captured by the Covenant, and the story follows other human characters and revolves around the search for something called the Key of Osanalon. As the story progresses, we discover that the key is fake, a lot of the human characters die, and Master Chief saves himself from being destroyed in the Forerunner's ship by jumping from it. We start the game with Johnson and the Arbiter rescuing Master Chief after falling to Earth in Africa. They reunite with Keys to put their plan to save the planet in action. They discover that the Prophet Truth is searching for something called the Ark, a ship that would allow him to control all Halos in the galaxy. During the journey, Master Chief is tormented with Cortana's voice echoing in his head after leaving her with the Gravemind in the end of the previous game. And something way more dangerous than the Covenant finds its way to Earth. The battle will be ferocious. A lot of beloved characters will not finish the fight in what really feels like the ending of the series. Playing Halo 3 right after the anniversary edition of Halo 2 is a problem. While Halo 2 had a complete revamp of its animation, the third game of the series didn't have the same treatment, which makes the graphics feel like a big step down. Of course, this is an unfair comparison, as this wouldn't be the case if I had played with the original visuals in the first place. Halo 3 doesn't rely too much on pre-rendered CGI videos though, which makes it a lot more consistent on its presentation. There are very few occasions where the gameplay stops for us to watch videos, as most scenes happen while you still have control of the character. The controllers are as smooth as they can be. Jumps are not a big issue anymore, all weapons feel fine and responsive. Even the vehicles I felt controlled a lot better, to the point where the final sequence, once again driving the Warthog, was a lot easier than in the first game. All the enemies behave as they always did, with the exception of the Flood. This is the first time I really felt the terror they originally proposed with those monsters, with humans begging for mercy as they see their comrades being consumed by the menace.
I can see it, Dolly, sliding around beneath their skin. Oh.
Okay, they are dealing with the...
They got up, started to talk. Oh God, their voices. Oh God, no, make them stop.
The developers didn't throw as many of them on the screen as before, which made them easier to deal with and, at the same time, scarier. But even though this was the case, the sequence where we break into one of their ships in order to save an old friend is probably the hardest of the entire game. The original voice acting is perfect. There was none of the weirdness that I felt when I played it for the first time.
Every sentient being in the galaxy.
The rings will kill us all.
Ma'am, I have Lord Hood.
Patch him through.
Every scene made more sense than before, and it helped that I was more acquainted with the overall story. And the story is the weakest point of Halo 3. Even though we go through several emotional turmoils during the journey, it is direct and without as many surprises as before. Probably the greatest fail of the game is not showing anything from the Arbiter's point of view, which, personally, I think it's the highlight in the previous one. The Arbiter is playable in co-op, but never in the single-player mode. The Prophet Truth also has its presence reduced to a regular villain, lurking for power as he uncovers the Ark. He was no longer the strong religious presence he represented beside his two late companions, being closer to a desperate emperor doing what he could to control the lacking power he still possessed. But it was a surprise that we united with a completely unexpected ally in the end of the game in order to take him down. So, is Halo 3 good? Yes, definitely. As much as I have my problems with it, it is an amazingly designed piece of art, and it's a respectable final part of the original trilogy. I really enjoyed the gameplay, and even the Flood became fun to fight. Better yet, even the Warthog has some character development.
You mean the Puma?
Evolving from the final boss of the first game to being a clumsy ally in the end of the third one. The only problem with this game is that Halo 2 exists. It was a hard mission to surpass what I consider to be one of the best games of the series. But 3 was able to stand strong, even if it failed to do so. It was the big system seller of the Xbox 360, and now I see why. The game did change my mind about it, and it is, in my opinion, a very satisfactory ending for the series. Until it wasn't. Thank you for watching the video, I hope you enjoyed it. I stream on Twitch every Monday, Wednesday and Friday around 9:30 PM Eastern Time, depending on what time the kid goes to sleep. So, if you want to join me, feel free to do so. Please like and subscribe and leave a comment if you want to. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I see you in the next video.